first thing I'd say is, with Coach Boyle, probably not a coach I look up to and respect more than how I feel about him, because he's done this so long at such a high level. And they do such a great job evaluating young guys and bringing them into their program and developing them. It's a shame. I think sometimes in this new era it can be hard to keep those guys. But we knew coming in, they're going to be a team that their guard plays great. They've got tremendous length everywhere. And I felt like our guys tonight, they brought their best, certainly to start, and like their response even after half. So we were fortunate to play really well and come out with the win.
TJ, it felt like forgetting the early decisive run, but when they kind of made a run at you, that's when Dom was at his best, keeping them off the offensive, getting offensive boards for you. How big was he and your bench in general, just in terms of helping you guys get a big lead, but also preventing them from getting back in the game?
Yeah, no, I think after our game Saturday, there was a lot of talk about our bench, or what production we need, or what needs to happen, and all that. And I think across the board, our guys really stepped up. And again, we don't view scoring as necessarily, what is at the top from a contribution standpoint. Yet at the same time, it does bring value, and it gave us a huge spark. I think, it played I'll be honest, like the last couple days and even last week or so, we've really been after him. He's capable of what he did tonight, and as much as we're gonna celebrate what he did tonight and tell him it's great, we're gonna expect that he does it again Sunday. It's not an outlier. It's not a, hey, he'll do that once a month. We need that level of production. He's a really good player. He's very physical. He goes to the boards with force, and now we're looking for a level of consistency for that to happen every single time he plays. I don't think I've seen anyone have a better response than what Jamarian Bateman did from his performance on Saturday. And it wasn't in the game tonight. It was when we got back on Saturday. It was Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, on and on and on all week long. There's probably not been a guy more anxious to play another game than what I've seen his sense of urgency. So I know we talk a lot about his habits coming in, but his pride and how much he wants to play well and play for our program and team is great. And then I thought Nate Heisey had the best game he's had in a while. Just brought physical, was on the glass right away, 8 and 8 with 4 assists, no turnovers. Really pleased with his performance as well. So again, great when the guys, when you go to the bench and you feel like tonight, in some respects we got better. And those guys had instant production, so good to see.
I was going to ask just how much the intangibles played into the 21-0 run, the 31-1 run, the fact that Killing gets that push out to Nealon, keep the possession alive, needs some rebounds, and all those things that don't show up on the stat sheet showed up, it felt like, in that dominant start.
Yeah, no, I think all those extra effort and energy plays our guys take pride in, and we practice with a very competitive spirit. And I think over the last 10 days or so, it's really ramped up, and our guys have had a chip on their shoulder. We've gone back to being the hunter instead of being something other than that. I think that's when we're at our best, and our practice habits have been carrying over for the game. So now the challenge becomes is staying in that same mental place, bringing that same effort and energy to practice, and then being very headstrong that the things you do in practice are going to carry over to the game. And certainly we've been doing that here lately.
3 straight games now for Don Plata, recording double-digit minutes. 16 minutes tonight is a career high. What has he done to earn an increased role for you guys?
What he did today is play well in the game. I still am going to continue to stay after him in practice, because I would say the best way in our program to earn opportunities is by what you do every single day on the practice court. And I think Don Plata has a tremendous future in our program. I also think he's capable of this game not being something that we talk about as a one-off, but something that we come to expect. So I'm going to coach him hard. We're going to be demanding. Coach Green works with him a lot every single day. But I think he should look at this as, he earned it by what he did in the game, and we need him to earn it by what he does in the game again on Sunday, and make this a thing of consistency.
4 offensive rebounds for him in the first half. You've talked about his ability on the offensive glass before, but what does it say about his intent to take some of that tough coaching you guys are giving him and apply it into the games?
Yeah, I think when he goes with 2 hands, he gets them. He's strong, he's physical, he seals. When he gets off a roll or runs to the rim, he carves out space. He's got a physicality to him. And when he goes with two hands, he gets them. And I think a lot of times he gets in there and it's close and he went with one. Well, today he went with two. We've been staying on him about doing it. So I'm glad that he performed well. And I think that he'll continue to perform well when he does those things, because he's got all the gifts and all the abilities to do so.
3 of the freshmen, big games and gave you big minutes in certain spurts in the game. But what was it like for you to see those 3 freshmen out there and then kind of continuing to do what they do?
Yeah, no, we're extremely high on that group in general. Obviously, Killian's had a remarkable freshman season. He does so much to impact winning, has such great energy and leadership. We've talked about Bateman and the habits things, and now he's continuing to be, productive more and more. And then obviously we've talked a bunch about Plater. So I think, for us, it's a credit to our coaching staff. Great job they do evaluating. Great job they do developing. And at this point in the season, there's no such thing as freshmen. Everybody that plays needs to go in and play to the standard and play well. And so those guys, coming out tonight and doing that is great to see.
Coach Plata talked about not even knowing he had 4 offensive rebounds until he saw it on a whiteboard at halftime. Why is that statistic one you like to remind your guys of in that moment?
If you look at the teams that are able to win in tough situations, when your offense isn't going as well, when shots aren't falling, you look at the teams that are successful, we put a lot of time into it. That's one character trait that most of the great teams have, that are able to win on the road, advance in conference tournaments, move on in NCAA tournaments. You have to anticipate that you're going to have a bad shooting night. You have to anticipate sometimes the ball's not going to move as well as you'd like. The defenses are very intentional, and if you make consistent effort, multiple efforts to the offensive glass, in many cases you can make an extra effort or energy play to put yourself in a great position. And so it's a huge area of focus, something that we take tremendous pride in, and something that we need to continue to be, resilient as we move forward.
TJ, what did you guys see from Plata that made you feel like you needed to challenge him over the last week?
Yeah, I think for him, it's extra effort plays, right? He's too good of a player to come out and get the ball knocked out of his hands. He's too good of a player not to produce offensive rebounds. He's too good of a player he's smart and he sees the plays early. And so I think it really just comes down to multiple efforts on the ball screen. We talk a lot about Blake. It feels like sometimes there's 2 of him out there. He's at the level of the screen and he sprints back with his hands up. We need Dom to make that play. A lot of times on the offensive glass, multiple efforts. Get off the block out, go free your hands and get it with 2 hands. And then, the plays offensively, when we throw it to him on the roll and in the pocket or even in the post, it's being aggressive and going right to your move and scoring the ball. And he's somebody that has tremendous ability. And I just think that we've got to demand all that ability all the time. And we see what it looks like when he plays that way, and it really elevates our team, and he should feel great about how he played tonight. But he should also know that he's got a coaching staff that's coming for him next day in practice, because it needs to look exactly like that the next time we take the court for practice, as well as the games that follow.
That play, I think, with about 10 minutes in the second half, where he puts it on the floor and then has the reverse drop set play up. Did he have that 2 months ago, or is that him and KG over the last 2, 3, 4 months?
Yeah, Coach Green does a remarkable job with our bigs and their development, and he's done a great job since we've been here. And I think the guys that we really tend to gravitate to are the guys that give extra efforts and the guys who really want to work, and you can develop those guys. And Coach Green has spent countless hours in there with Plata, and I know sometimes maybe to him those things are mundane or the details are boring or it's not whatever. And what I'd say is it's paid off for him, and it will continue to pay off for him. But to be effective, you've got to embrace the mundane. You've got to embrace the things that people call little things that aren't. He's got a natural ability to score the ball, and he's got great hands. But the other teams are going to really try to prevent you from doing it. So you've got to give multiple efforts on everything that you do. And tonight, like I said, those multiple efforts showed up for him. Right back to work.
You and your staff were wearing the patches on your sleeves for Coaches versus Cancer. I was just kind of wondering, what is your thought behind the process and what it means to the world?
Yeah, no, I think we're fortunate for the positions and the opportunities we have, and obviously, we want to do our part in the fight against cancer. We know it affects so many of us and so many of our families, and I think it's a small gesture we're able to do to help bring awareness and to help bring support, and it's certainly something that we want to do as we continue to move forward.
TJ, you've had balanced scoring production before, but what does it say about the team to see this kind of efficiency where you guys are shooting 61.4% overall?
Yeah, no, our guys are sharing the basketball. They're playing for each other. It's great to see I want them to be mentally focused on making the right play and the right decision to get the right shot. And we've had a great intent to do that, and not an agenda of what individually we want it to be. And guys are moving the ball better. And when that happens, we know we have a lot of guys that can score the ball. So that's something that we'll continue to lean into and continue to expect. And I'll always still gravitate back towards, the best way to score is in transition off your defense, and that seems to be when the ball moves even better in space. So we need to keep our focus there, and then also be great executing in the half court.
And you've been asked about slow starts a bunch, so I guess it's only fair that we ask about the hot starts in these last few games. What has been the key to getting your team to start so efficiently and effectively right out of the gate?
I think regardless of, fast start, slow start, what happened Saturday after half, what happened today after half. Look, the bottom line is this: we need to focus on getting stops and playing physical defense. When we do that, things go our way. On offense, we need to focus on ball movement and continue to attack the paint and play for each other. When we do that, things go our way. And then the rebounding piece on both ends. Blocking out in such a manner that the opponent stops going, and then multiple efforts with two hands on the other end. So, look, everybody's, you get to this point, we're heading into February. Everybody knows each other's teams, so we're going to play against great coaches and great players. And there's going to be times where they make shots, and there's going to be times where they go on runs. There's going to be times where they disrupt our rhythm. And so if we just keep our focus where it needs to be, we know over the long haul, things are going to go our way. So I know there's a lot of narrative about slow starts, fast starts. There was a narrative at the start of the season we were going to be no good after we went to Creighton. So I think we've proved that all the narratives pretty much go away, and what it's about is our guys playing for each other, doing the things that we do.
Dom talked about being more comfortable in everything that you guys are asking him to do. I was wondering if you could contextualize.
I would say it's more demanding. I wouldn't say there's not a lot of questions right now.
Could you contextualize how much different what you guys ask him to do offensively and defensively compared to what he was maybe doing when he was overseas, but just how different the game of basketball can be?
Yeah, again, there's no questions. It's all demands. It's directives, and they need to be carried out. And, what he did overseas, in that game, and that, a lot of respect for the league he played in and the team he played on. Again, I'm not an expert on much. I'm certainly not an expert on what they were trying to do or how they were trying to utilize him. I know that for us, when he gives multiple efforts and when he's physical and when he seals and when he demands the ball and when he goes to the offensive boards and when he gives multiple efforts on the ball screen, he plays well. So he needs to put all his focus on that. And the best way to develop is to do those things. It's to prove you can do those things over and over and over again consistently. And then at some point you say, okay, where can I expand my game? And you say, all right, great. Well, you're doing all these things every single game. So now let's plus one and add something else. But for right now, the focus is everything he's doing, multiple efforts every single day. And then I'll be the one to decide when it's time to add on once we get that established.
Coach, when you looked at Colorado defensively for your team, what did you look to focus on, maybe look to take away, and whatever it was, do you feel like you did it in that dominant start?
Yeah, no, like I said, I think there's not a coach that I look up to and respect more than Coach Boyle. And I think he's somebody that has done this for so long with such tremendous character, great leadership. He's somebody that I really admire. And what a great job they do evaluating the freshmen that come in and developing players. He's done it for so long at such a high level. And so, you respect their guards. Johnson's all the great freshmen in the league. He's a great freshman. And Hargress is a proven, veteran winner. And, Ranchik is an elite, scorer, playmaker at his size. So, they pose a lot of challenges and problems. And, as a team, all it's gonna take for them is to get, a big win to get their confidence going again. It's tough in this league, when things aren't going your way and you have to go on the road and play in an environment like the one they had to play in tonight. So I just think they're a team that they're gonna keep working. I know how coach coaches their team, and they're gonna keep putting the time in, and they're gonna have their breakthrough. You just gotta stay after it. Something similar that we experienced a couple weeks ago, when things don't go your way, keep your head down, keep working. I know that's who Coach Boyle is, and what he'll demand from his team.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.